let's get some context and some picture from you. I mean, straight from the PNP. There are cases, there are complaints brought to your office, not just to your office, but also to the CHR. And do you have numbers just to set us off on some baseline of discussion? There are complaints about human rights violations committed by the police?
Well, first, of course, when we speak of human rights violations, we speak of the perspective of the UN conventions, because more often than not, police officers as well as the other security sector representations are being charged with human rights violations on the basis of our commitment to these conventions. And we feel that since the PNP being too preoccupied with performing law enforcement activities, including crime prevention, crime control, and solution that comes with it, we have to adapt ourselves to the evolving conditions of our society that has been too complex nowadays. And thus, there are some violations that probably may be committed by our police officers. But our leadership indeed is not condoning. And time and again, across the time that we have been addressing human rights, while there are violations of committed by police officers, there too are mechanisms to see to it that the PNP will not leave any stone unturned to seeing to it that justice must be served on the part of the victims.
So what are some basic numbers just to illustrate those two points, because both are important? On the one hand, give us an idea of the number of complaints. At the same time, give us some idea of how those mechanisms that you cited are working, also in terms of numbers.
Well, if you look at how we address the instances where police officers may have been found to be committing offenses, violations of the rule of law, violations of our procedures. At this point, there are close to about 580 police personnel who are facing investigation, administrative that is, insofar as human rights violations are concerned. These cases already are ranging between serious misconduct, serious irregularity in the performance of their duty, as well as negligence on their part. But since this is an administrative case management, we also are awaiting the interests of the victims to seeing to it that justice also must be served in their favor against the law enforcers who already violated the law through the existing courts, because criminal po ang ating approach to seeing to it that case is to be filed in courts.
The 580 are all administrative cases.
Yes, sir.
This number refers to admin cases. So
yes,
we're not looking at jail time here. We're looking only at, if ever, suspension or removal.
That's right, sir.
How are they faring, the 580?
Well,
how many of them have been resolved,
of course,
or how many of them have?
Due process dictates that they have to be investigated properly in accordance with our administrative rules and procedures. And, well, of course, NAPOLCOM has already come up with its report that they have already dismissed close to 1,000 police officers, and they never got back to the organization. At the least, the PNP does not condone any acts that are inimical to the services being rendered by the police force. And we feel it is really our responsibility that whoever is interested to filing action against the police will be given the attention that they deserve.
That's an interesting number, sir. You're saying 1,000 policemen have been dismissed from the police force?
Yes, sir. Over a certain period. I could not share with you the exact details, but that was already reported by the NAPOLCOM beforehand.
That's a huge number. You have 140,000 personnel.
Well, if you are to look at the entire number of the police force, we are more or less 180,000.
180. Okay.
Yes, sir. So that does not even represent perhaps 1%.
1%, a little less.
Sir. So, in other words, while it is true that there are numbers pertaining to violations of the law, there, of course, is a bigger number that is dedicated to providing services. Of course, the functions of the police is to really serve and protect the interests of the community. But then again, we feel because of the complexities, again, of our society, the coercive power of the police sometimes get in the way of perhaps violating some rules.
Yeah.